This is the all-new WICR. We're now on Live 365 and Ustream.com. Just search WICR and like us on Facebook. Facebook.com/WICR Iona College Radio.
All right, and we're back, and we're gonna continue with a couple more scandals. There's scandals literally almost every day in this administration. Something else is different. Something goes wrong. Lately, Ivanka Trump just got clearance to become an official White House worker. She's gonna work close to her father, of course. Jared Kushner, Ivanka Trump's husband, is a senior advisor to the president, and he's acting as a diplomat. And this week, he met with the Iraqi prime minister. There are people who he put on his administration. The president has to fill cabinet positions and all that. And a lot of them, like Ben Carson, who's in charge of housing and urban development, he's a brain surgeon. He has no idea what that is. Betsy DeVos, she got a lot of backlash for never being in a public school or knowing how basically to run a public school. And she gave a lot of money to Republicans. And people are saying that basically linked her to them, voting for her nomination. There's lack of diversity in his cabinet. No African Americans that I've seen besides Ben Carson. No women at all besides now his daughter, which is again, it's basically what the founding fathers were trying to go against. Having family power in the White House. Trump signed a deal that would when he said that he signed the deal to not be a part of his businesses, it was actually so that he could continue to collect checks from his businesses whenever he pleased. Gorsuch, he has to be nominated. So Republicans, they're trying to get him pushed soon. They're gonna do the not nuclear plan, which is basically to create rules so that he could get elected easily. Border, the wall, that's probably not gonna be built. Defunding all these services, so EPA, national parks, Meals on Wheels for the old people, all that type of stuff. He's defunding it. So he wants to cut spending, and he wants to put $54 billion into the military. The whole wiretap scandal that has been proven false. He wants to bring back the coal industry, even though there's about 70,000 jobs there, compared to the 650,000 jobs for clean and renewable energy. And the main thing, he's golfing way too much. This week he's going golfing again with the president of China, Xi Jinping. This week he's gonna be in Mar-a-Lago for, I don't even know, it's like the 12th time in like 13 weeks.
Very soon we might have the Trump tournament as big as the Masters.
Just each president. Yeah.
I mean, speaking of the Ivanka Trump issue, I mean, I'm gonna be a little bit harsh right now. This is nepotism to me. Trump is acting like a third world dictator by rewarding his family members with no experience. I mean, if you go in a third world country in Africa, such as Gabon, if you look at the members of the government, it starts with the president's brothers, sisters, brother-in-laws, cousins, and etc. Just allows you to stay in power for a long period of time. I mean, where are we right now? Are we in America or in Africa or whatsoever? Come on, people, let's just be real about this.
Definitely.
I mean, what kind of president comes in with so much attention, with scandals and scandals, and people still keep giving him excuses? The numbers are there, the facts are there, and his supporters seem not to look at the bigger picture. I just don't get that. It doesn't make sense to me.
I saw a video yesterday on Vox. They're basically a news organization, and they said that comedy or political satire on comedy shows is better than the news because they don't account for all the falsehoods. They kind of just basically this is false, you shouldn't believe it, and then they just go from there. But on the news, on CNN, you have some people to be able to say or to make you question if it's truly false, even though you know it's false. So then it kind of plays with your head and tricks your mind. And there's this, you want both sides to be able to talk, but if it's false, then it's false. It's not something about, abortion where there's no right or wrong answer. You could have two sides be like, oh, I believe that
Totally.
Women should be able to have an abortion, if they can't afford to have a child, or if there's medical complications to when she has the child and things like that. Or you could be against it, saying no, that's a human life in there. Uh, you shouldn't have an abortion. That's okay, because that's not a fact or non-fact. That's just debate on what you believe. But if it's fact and falsehood, then you should be only stating the facts. You shouldn't be tricking people kind of in with these falsehoods. And another scandal that's been happening this weekend, kind of, it's really scary when you think about it, that now with the privacy protections that Obama put in place, the Republicans are basically repealing it. They're taking that away. So internet service providers such as Verizon, Comcast, AT&T, they could view your browsing history, whatever you search online, on your phone, all that, and they could sell it to companies or whoever wants it to the highest bidder. So if somebody decides to pay them millions of dollars for your history, then they'll give it to that person, and they'll do that. And also net neutrality. So basically, if you pay more for whatever service you want, then you'll get that service. So you'll get the higher internet speed. You'll be able to download things quicker. You'll be able to view certain programs that other people can't. But if you don't have the money to pay for that, then you just get the basic cable and stuff like that. Your internet speed will be slower, and things like that. So that's what they want to do.
So, like in one word, America belongs to the rich, and the poor has to struggle. Whatever happened to America, I will be the president of everyone.
The people.
Whatever happened to that speech? I mean, like, we have recorded speeches of Trump always contradicting everything that he says and everything that he's doing right now. I mean, like, this country prides itself for being a democratic country, for respecting people's lives. Of course, like, there's no perfect democracy, but yet, like, having lived in different countries in Africa, Europe, I've seen different nations. I cannot compare the democracy, but how do you go from like level 10 to level 4? This doesn't make sense to me. I mean, this actually displays the real agenda of Donald Trump. Like, I'm here to protect the rich like me, because if I protect them, any story that comes against me, I can downplay it. And the poor, well, deal with it. This is not what America is about. America is about equality. America is about fairness. America is about giving chances to everybody else. So if we have no privacy, and if to have good internet service, I need to be richer. Imagine students who don't have that opportunity, or people who work 2 jobs and still don't have that opportunity. What does America become?
Basically, some countries, like I think Estonia, they have free Wi-Fi. So in public, you could go out and you don't have to pay for Wi-Fi.
And the most powerful nation on earth wants you to pay
for
much
4G,
more.
for this and that.
This Wi-Fi thing is going to become like the health thing, where you have other countries like Australia or poorer nations compared to America, where the health issue is no issue because it's free. You can't afford it. The government takes care of it. But here they privatized that. It became like a personal property. So you have no money, you die.
They want to privatize everything, things like that. Earlier, Jeff Sessions, he was basically talking about another law that was put in place by Obama when, all these shootings and killings happened to African American men and people of color. Having to deal with the police, were more likely to get shot and killed, pulled over, looking suspicious and things like that. And Obama put laws in place, kind of just questioning the police, telling them that, I guess to fix their training or to approach things differently. So because they do have a lot of power, and they do have your life in their hands at that point, at any moment, as we have seen multiple times. And it's not even just now. You have the Rodney King incident that was in the 90s. So imagine all those years without cameras, without any Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, where other people can see it. All those years of police brutalizing people in the African American community and things like that. And so Jeff Sessions, basically, he wanted to roll that back. Just basically everything Obama did, they want to repeal. He's saying, though, the police, they can't do their job properly anymore, this and that. And it's just kind of scary to me, because now he's basically giving them more power and more say to do what they please, and that's just gonna make things a lot worse than the way it is, because they need more training. It's not about body cams and stuff like that, or people running away or people hurting them. No, Like you see on the show Cops, the people run for miles. The cops are chasing them. They're right there because the camera's on them. And then there's people running away like the cop can't run. There's cops who just stand there and just shoot the guy 5 times in the back, or not even in the leg, or not even the foot or something, just to subdue him so that he stays there. Like, and it's sad that we have to ask, like, at least shoot us in the foot. That's a sad thing to ask a police officer to do, and they're supposed to be there to serve and protect us, but they're not really. And so this kind of scares me a little bit, well, a lot actually. I see my mom scared when I have to go to hockey games. Like last night, I had to go all the way to Elmsford near, like 20 minutes away from Yorktown. Like she kind of gets scared at night that I'm driving and stuff like that. And I see it in her face. Like she gets kind of disappointed when I have to go that far. Me, I'm not really too, because I'm not thinking about it that much because I'm just thinking about the game. But, I could see her point of view.
I mean, when it comes to this police shootings, I've always been a little bit skeptical because I am no policeman. I just like you sometimes watch those shows, and I don't think it's an easy thing being a policeman.
No, not at all. Nobody's saying that.
But having said that, I do agree that they need further training. I don't think we should judge them and perceive them as enemies. Like I feel like some of our black leaders, such as Rev R. Sharpton or Jesse Jackson or some other, sometimes miss the bigger picture. If we give our communities the image that the police is the enemy, this is going to create a war. I feel like hatred only begets hatred. Like fear only begets fear. So the best thing to do is to say, yes, there are racist cops. There are killer cops. It's not even about them being racist or not. They just joined the force so they can kill. Yet, there are good cops out there. And I think we need not only to teach the police, but we also need to teach our children, our fathers, our mother, how to respond. Because some of those videos, we see two cases. Some who are very arrogant towards the police officer, some who were just saying like, I'm not fighting back, being normal citizens. And those who were normal citizens and got killed, we can argue for them, say, yeah, they got killed, it wasn't fair. But as a human being, like, we all have our limits. And if I'm a police officer, you spit in my face, you yell at me, or you're doing something stupid, I might forget that I am actually on duty, that I'm not allowed to do certain things, and it might end up wrong. So I think that the teachings need to go for the policemen at first, because they're the one responsible for the community, but also community members, our kids, children, mothers and father, to also watch their tones, their way of speaking to these men, because they did not necessarily choose to be there. They have kids. They have parents, they have mothers, and they also need that respect. So this is my point of view when it comes to that, because I am sometimes ashamed when I see a young man that's going to cuss at a policeman. I recently saw a video of this young man, like the policemen were having coffee. He started taking video of them, started cursing at them, but they did not respond. Now imagine it was the wrong policeman.
The wrong police.
What
wrong
would have
day,
happened?
Something happened to
And
him
then
that
we would
day.
have been, this is a racial tension and everything. Thus, those thugs actually provoked them. And let's remember, the policemen are human beings just like us. They have emotions and feelings. So we should watch out, because you can have a puppy that's kind, but the day you try to chop his tail off, it might bite you back.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I listened to the Brilliant Idiots podcast with Charlemagne the God, and I think that one of the best things that he said for his argument was that people in their community should be police officers. So like if you live in New Rochelle, you police New Rochelle, because you know the people, you know the citizens. You could go outside and be like, yo, Darrell,
and they trust
are
you
you
too.
outside right now? Like I know your mom, I'm gonna tell her that you're outside right now, and this and things like that. So it creates a sense of trust, because you know that person, you know that person isn't there to harm you. But if you're a police officer going into like a different city, different district, then you don't know anybody, then it's just awkward kinda, then you have to gain the trust of people, And I think that actually was the smartest idea of how to deal with police and everything like that.
It wouldn't be bad. I think that would work because the community would trust you more, and sometimes even the thug would be like, I have respect for him, so
Yeah.
I'll lay low and everything. I think it's not necessarily a bad idea. Of course, there's always a negative side to everything, but that would work better than
Definitely.
sending a stranger.
Yeah, who has no idea of the place. All right, so we're done with politics right now. When we come back, we're going to look at sports and the NBA season and how that's unfolding.